Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Joe.
And you're listening to How Many Fingers Am I Holding Up, the podcast. And this week, we're reviewing Brooklyn.
Say, Jay-Z, what's your favorite movie?
Brooklyn!
Welcome to How Many Fingers Am I Holding Up? Featuring two guys getting flutered and reviewing movies in a weekly podcast form.
You like that? You like that word?
I do like that. What does that mean?
Getting drunk.
And
I don't know, not specifically Irish, but it's an Irish slang, I guess. I'm trying to open this without
I got it right here.
So this week we're drinking appropriately. Can you guess? Brooklyn lager. Jesus Christ, Joe. Joe, that was nice.
Nice. I made a mistake and Mike caught it.
Much like we've been doing the entire podcast.
Just blowing mistakes his way. Let's talk about what's it taste like.
It's all right.
Tastes like it's all right.
I feel like it's just a good standby.
It is. I don't really know how to.
I can never really complain about Brooklyn lager.
You know who might have some sort of description of how they feel about this?
I told you I don't have anything else to say, Joe.
Is our guest. Oh, not his first time here, but his second time now. His name is Joe Manno.
Oh, wah, 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 wah. This shit tastes like immigration, son.
Damn. Feels like
I don't know what that means, but I respect it.
Tastes straight like immigration.
Damn.
Like that early 20th century immigration.
Ooh, like the real immigration.
Yo, we'd be chilling at
Ellis
Island.
Island
Ellis
shit.
Island. I'm talking Ellis Island.
Did I use that every time somebody asks me? They're like, what is Brooklyn? I'm like, I don't know, some Ellis Island shit. Just
Ellis Island is not in Brooklyn. You know that.
It's in Brooklyn.
Well, you have to go through Ellis Island.
No, you can't. There's a couple ways you can go. This is neither here nor there, people.
All right.
It's
Brooklyn
a pleasure to be
Bridge.
here with you guys. I just want to say this.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
I came in hot last episode I was on talking about The Martian.
Right.
Came in hot talking about soaking.
You got something for
Yeah,
us
you
this
got something
week?
for us?
I got a little something. I was gonna say something, but then I was on my way here and I saw some bros get into a fight
Nice.
near Stephanie's, your guys' favorite
Our
bar,
stopping ground,
Stephanie's. Yeah. We're coming at you from Fair Doylestown, so I saw these guys get into a fight. I don't know about what. I saw some guy swinging. It was fucking awesome. And then I'm walking up the street past another one of your favorite haunts, Chambers.
Mm-hmm. The other side.
Yeah, the other side, Chambers. And this guy, this really douchey looking guy, stopped a car with someone in it that he knew. And he was like, yo, man, what's up? And the guy was like, hey, man, where you going? And he said, there's another bar called Mom's. He said, I'm going up to Mom's. And then I'm coming back to Chames.
Good old James.
I'm coming back to Chames. And he said, well, I see you there? And the guy said, yeah. And he said, cool, much love. And went about his business. So that kind of sidetracked me. There is a thing I want to talk about. It's called, I don't know what it's called, but it's grown men who dress up like rubber dolls. Women rubber dolls. There's a BBC documentary called Secret of the Living Dolls, I believe.
What is a rubber doll to begin with?
Like they wear like a rubber mask.
Like a Barbie, except...
Yo.
Oh, okay.
Yo,
So just like a
anyone who
doll.
is not familiar with this, please Google it. It is terrifying. Yo, and they walk around like that.
But they're men and they walk around.
They're
like
men,
this.
yeah.
Right,
and they walk around in these rubber doll costumes, and like it covers their whole face, and they talk, and it's like in Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire where they talk, but like their jaws don't move. You know, so it's like really fucking creepy. So BBC documentary, it's on YouTube. You can Google it. I think Gawker wrote an article about it because it's fucking creepy, and I don't know, Gawker was into it.
So is it like a sexual thing? Like,
Yeah, I think it's a sexual
could
thing.
be.
I feel like
Yeah.
anything like that has to be.
Yeah, it's that. I mean,
That can't just be fun.
I'm
You've
assuming
got to be coming inside
I'm assuming
that,
those
like, doll
dudes.
suit.
Yeah, they're rock hard.
You're gonna be
that
soaking.
entire time. Yeah,
You're soaking inside that doll suit.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, so it's It's either called Secret of the Living Dolls or Valley of the Living Dolls or something like that. It's a BBC documentary. It doesn't take that much to Google it, people. I'm just trying to get the word out, you know? So I hear
Which
you
is a great segue to talk about the film Brooklyn.
A lot of them are in Europe, so I felt appropriate.
Joe doesn't have a podcast of his own. He just solely believes in this documentary. That's the only thing he's plugging today.
So yeah, check out the podcast or there's probably a podcast about it, but check out the documentary.
They have a Twitter for these rubber dolls.
I'm sure they have it, but you'd have to watch the documentary to find out.
Oh boy,
This is gonna be a good one. I'm excited.
Yeah, this is so far so good.
Reviewing Brooklyn.
So I'll do the IMDb description. An Irish immigrant lands in 1950s Brooklyn, where she quickly falls into a romance with a local. When her past catches up with her, however, she must choose between two countries and the lives that exist within.
This description, it sounds like she's like a murderer from like Ireland.
No, this is how I read some description on another website, not just IMDb, and they always use that term when her past catches up with her.
It's not a good phrase for this movie.
It sounds like she like murdered somebody in Ireland and like all of a sudden
ran to Brooklyn to get away from
it. And people start like poking around in like Brooklyn, like, why is she here? And she's like, I killed somebody. But I'm in love.
What did you do? What did you do back in Ireland? Nothing. Don't worry about it. Don't ask about it. I'm here in Brooklyn. That's what matters.
Ma'am, we're here to arrest you on the counter that you killed somebody in Ireland. Wait a minute. I'm in love.
But I love him.
I can't arrest her. I can't arrest these lovers. Can you tell that we've had like 14 videos?
It's a pretty accurate description.
No. We'd be dead. You
get some Joe notes?
I kind of have some Joe notes. I have that it is directed by John Crowley, who has directed a ton of films that I've never heard of.
But
including Intermission, Boy A, Is Anybody There? And Closed Circuit.
You know what he did direct, though?
What did he direct?
2 episodes of True Detective Season 2.
Hang him.
He did the finale as well.
Dude.
Just simultaneously groaning.
Both Joes.
The Joe groan.
Joe groan.
Everybody do the Joe groan. This is not funny for anybody listening.
Oh, God.
And the screenplay, which I thought was interesting, was written by Nick Hornby.
Not Nicholas Sparks, like I thought it would have been.
And it was based on a Colm Tobin novel by the same name, Brooklyn. And for those of you who don't know Nick Hornby, he's written novels like High Fidelity and About a Boy. He's a pretty good author.
He also did the screenplay for Wild and An Education as well.
Didn't know that.
I did some of
You're
your
starting
work
to
for
be
you.
Someone has a Google.
You're starting to be Joe Notes.
We're
That
gonna
was
have
pretty
Mike
Joe
Notes
Notes.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I guess I'll just become Joe. That's probably easier.
I spent so long on trying to decide how I felt about Room that I just like it totally.
We get it. You liked it. Get over it. God damn.
But everything else suffered because of that. These next 3 reviews are going to be terrible because I don't have any notes about these, and I'm so bad at thinking on my feet.
Well, why don't you think with your brain, not your feet?
See, I'm already behind.
You can't do any thinking.
I'm trying to think with my feet. You want to talk about... not that we really had a unique experience, but
I disagree.
You want to talk about our theater
I do.
experiences?
I would like to.
Oh, you guys saw it together.
We
We did. Yeah, a
It
couple
was
days ago.
It was a couple's date.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Well, yeah.
Couple days
This is
ago?
a couple's movie.
Yeah, I totally thought like we walk in and the theater was actually pretty packed, which I
was.
thought was kind of weird. But like, yeah, no, it was totally. There was a couple like mother-daughters, but there was a lot of like older married couples. And Joseph, I call him Joseph. Joseph and I walked to the front of like toward the front of the theater, and he's like, all right, yeah, like is here good? And I was like, yeah, but it was like right in front of 2 people. And I was like, that's kind of fucked up. Like, I don't like when people sit in front of me. Like,
Yeah.
let's move up one. And he's like, all right, cool. So I sit down, and then he looks at me, and he's like, yo, dog, can we jump across the aisle and sit over there? And I was like, all right, yeah, sure. So I stand up and go across the aisle. And as soon as I go across the aisle and sit down, he goes, actually, Doug, let's go back over there.
We switched seats like 5 times.
Did you guys drink before going to see
No,
this?
actually, yeah, we had like a beer,
We
but
had a beer, but like that. This is what it's like going to the movies with me. I think we went to go see
The Big Short.
The Big Short, and it's like a fucking crowded theater. What weekend was that? Was that what holiday was
New
that?
Year's.
Oh yeah, okay. So it was New Year's Eve. It was packed. And like, so the only 4 seats that we could see together, because it was me, you, Jordan, and Kevin, and they were right in front of the screen. Like, I hate those. So I literally like sat there and I was like antsy for like an entire minute, and I was like, guys, I'm gonna go sit somewhere else by myself. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, before like I could tell, like before they could just see me, like I was already like walking back, and I like sat like front row and center, like on like the next like tier up, and I was like, nice. But they all sat there. They all stayed there.
It's easier to find a nice seat when there's just one of
Oh
you.
yeah, like a solo seat, right?
front rows for jabronis. That is not a way to see a movie.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
But this motherfucker made me switch seats like 4 times.
But yeah, but that's just what it's like to go to the fucking movies with me.
Well, now I know. And then, so, pleasant experience at the theater, County Theater in Doylestown, no beef.
Nice.
When I was leaving, though, and this will probably make more sense as we sort of explain the movie more, but as I was leaving, I heard, I guess it was either 2 women or a woman and her daughter, or whatever it was.
Kiss.
She said, yeah, I heard them just kissing. No, I heard, as we're walking out, I heard one go, oh my God, hashtag Team Tony. And then the other one she was with went, I know, totally Team Tony. And I was like, oh, jeez.
I didn't hear that.
I agree. I
That's
can't even
terrible.
disagree. I can't even disagree.
So I saw it by myself. It was a
Nerd.
mistake. Just an entire theater just filled with couples. I made the mistake of sitting in front of probably the loudest couple in the entire theater.
And they were all giving each other hand jobs.
Yes.
Since
They were so
the only,
loud about it.
He was the only single one there. They all had to come on him.
I had to give myself a hand job.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It was so embarrassing.
All the couples had the
Someone
bukkake
said
on
it was
my...
Mike really hated this movie.
Oh, God.
They were just like, it's only customary in movie theaters that because you're the only person here, we all have to release ourselves on you.
He watched it through cum-covered glasses.
I'm glad both me and Mike's parents listened to this.
I know.
I'm sorry.
This is probably the movie that they would want to watch, and they'll probably listen to this
no,
review.
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't. I won't curse anymore.
So
Until,
they don't know what bukkake means.
They'll know after they Google it.
All right, so I saw it by myself. I sat in front of the worst couple ever. The guy's just like loudly like chewing popcorn like during the entire previews, which is just like when you're by yourself, you don't have anyone to talk to that's like getting in your fucking head. And then throughout the entire movie, this guy must have had like the worst hearing imaginable, because literally every 5 minutes he just turns to his girlfriend. He's like, "What did she say?" And then she would have to repeat the line to
Maybe
like
he
make it
couldn't
even worse.
understand the accents.
That's what I was saying. Like they're in an Irish accent, but they're still speaking English. Like it's not like it was like some foreign language
That's true.
with like subtitles or something. Like and the accents aren't even that thick. Like even though some of the people in this movie are actually Irish, like they definitely toned it down and like made it like understandable. But he was also just like a loud guy to begin with. Like he was like, anytime there was like a word on the screen and like a sign, he would read it. Like there's one time where they're walking in front of like a like deli or something, and he's just like, pastrami. I was like, all right, dude, like it's not your fucking living room. Like shut up. At one point, he was just like announcing like what he thought was gonna happen for the plot. He's like, ooh, they're gonna get back together now. So I was like really like not in like my element the entire time.
What was that fucking like word association? Like deli. Oh, pastrami.
Well, no, the sign literally said pastrami, but he was just like, is that the thing you need to read from like this? Pastrami.
They're like, more importantly, why are you reading out loud?
Why are you even
in a
looking at
movie?
that part of it?
I was hoping it was more just...
Or he's like hungry and he's like, pastrami. As if he didn't chew enough popcorn in my ears. So that was my theater experience.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah.
And it came right after, literally the night before I saw Star Wars for a third time, and there was a guy behind me that was also like talking a lot. But that was like actually like a decent experience because it was like this older guy that was just like so overcome with emotion from seeing Star Wars.
Oh,
so
that's
like
cool.
I was almost like, that's just cute. Like I could deal with this.
Right.
Like every time like a character would come up, he's like, oh, it's R2D2. Yes. C3PO.
Meanwhile, there's like another guy behind Mike, like in Star Wars, and he's like, pastrami. R2D2 pops up. Oh, pastrami.
Oh God.
Oh boy. Yeah, but the fucking the county theater that we go to, which is just like a block or two from here, it's been crowded lately.
Yeah,
I don't know where it's going with that, but
Yeah, it's all those old white people.
Pastrami. So
I don't
They
know.
probably love pastrami.
I want to be neutral about this theater right now because they haven't accepted or rejected us.
that's right.
No, they're great. I really like it. It's just
Well, I'm saying Doylestown is having like a local filmmaker spotlight, and we put less than 3 up for, and I give them a DVD copy, and it's a bunch of old white people, so I really don't know what's going to come of this. So right now, I just have to say, yeah, they're there.
They're all right.
yeah, they're cool. It's cool to have in our town,
Right.
I think. But all right, yo.
So let's get into this movie.
Yeah, because Joseph and I saw it together, and we didn't really even talk about it afterward. We
didn't.
kind of saved our shit.
I hate when like it almost became the point where I think Mike expressed last batch of podcasts, like after he saw Anomalisa, that he didn't like it, and I think that psyched me out. I was like, well, I'm gonna like it. And I got like real fucked up from that kind of. So like now, like I think Joe like maybe even wanted to talk about it, and I was like,
No.
don't even fucking.
Yeah, he like threatened me to
Shut up! Shut your mouth.
fuck up shit.
Joe was like, I think the movie was pretty pastrami. Thanks.
Thanks. Oh God.
But so this was nominated for 3 Academy Awards.
That's a great segue.
Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best pastrami.
Jesus Christ.
This
is going off the rails.
Welcome.
All right, well, I'm gonna bring it back
All right,
to
bring it
what the point is here, because
All
you
right.
guys are just so unprofessional. It's embarrassing.
All right.
Yeah. So best picture nominee. I don't fucking see it.
No.
I didn't dislike it. I just don't see it as a best picture.
I mean, The Martian's also up for Best
Yeah.
Picture.
If the bar is that low.
I mean,
And all right, so for those of you who listen, you know I fucking hate The Martian, and that shit won best comedy or musical
And the
at
Golden
the
Globes, yeah.
Golden Globes.
yeah.
And I told you
And
to
Matt
bring
Damon
my
won Best
displeasure
Actor.
up on one of these podcast
And I
episodes.
did. And I
Oh,
did.
you
You
did?
did, yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's-
think it's the next one, actually.
Oh, shit,
really?
I haven't heard it yet.
I thought it was the Oscar reaction one.
Edit the
maybe
shit
it
out.
is, yeah.
Edit the shit out. Now I look like a fool.
Why?
I'm just kidding.
The
anyway.
Golden Globes proved you wrong. Because the Golden Globes are always right.
Anyway, that movie sucked. This movie wasn't bad. I like this movie. I don't think it's best picture worthy. I do think. I think her name is pronounced Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah, how do you pronounce that name?
Say or
No, well, I saw on Wikipedia that Irish people pronounce it Saoirse,
Sears.
but she would say Saoirse or something. I don't know. There's a difference. Look it up on Wikipedia. But she was great in it. She was really, really good.
Dude.
I haven't seen Room yet, but word on the street is Brie Larson kills it, so I feel like she'll probably win it. But this girl was really, really great and deserves a lot of acclaim. She was really good.
I don't think I really realized that until it was later in the movie, but some weird choice, and also like, I mean, we could talk about her acting. She's great, but her physical appearance is another, like, a whole other like sort of thing that's happening. Like they start off the movie.
She is actually Irish, by the way.
She's from the Bronx. She moved to Ireland when she was like 3. Yeah.
Jesus.
Wow.
She is Brooklyn.
Well, the Bronx is not Brooklyn.
I am Queens Boulevard. Okay.
Nice. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that is.
Hopefully some of you guys appreciate that too.
We never reviewed the Entourage movie this
Yo, I
year.
just
I haven't
watched
even
it the other
seen the
night.
Entourage movie.
Oh, I would love. I don't say anything.
You haven't watched it yet?
No.
No.
I
Oh
need to.
man, it's exactly what you think it is.
That's exactly what I want.
I know.
We need to watch it. We need to talk turtle. talk turtle.
But I feel like at the start of this movie, like, I mean, there is like that line she's going out to like that dance or whatever, with her friend, and her friend's like, oh, you didn't wear that blue dress? And she's like, she's like, oh, you don't want to like get attached or anything since you're like moving or taking a fucking ship to America. And I guess like maybe that's a reason, but I feel like they made her look like really ugly at the start of the movie. like she's just really not attractive, or like they're just placing her next to her friend who's pretty hot, who's pretty attractive. Not hot.
Not hot. She's just attractive.
Yeah. But
Pretty.
but I feel like as she goes to America and she's working in this high-end department store, and she's living with other women who are helping her, put on her face or whatever, and because she's got greasy skin, and they point that out too, and that like when she goes back to Ireland, I feel like
Oh, she's hot shit when she goes back there.
right, because they're like, damn, she from America. Damn, she got makeup
Well,
on.
even like
damn,
the costume design is great. Just because,
course, yeah.
before she goes, it's just very like basic shit, just like bland, boring dresses. And then when she comes back, she's like super like fashionable, and even people are even like commenting on that. And you can see it like with like the sunglasses she's wearing. She's got like brighter colors.
Oh, yeah.
that like really sticks out among like just like the drab blandness of like Ireland at that time. Like,
I think like I get what you're saying, Joe.
right.
But to me, it wasn't that she looked unattractive
Right.
in Ireland. It's that she looked really young. And I have no idea how old she's supposed to be in this movie. And I also have no idea
How old anybody is in this movie? Because
or
you're just like,
just
this is a different time.
just the timeline of the movie. I have no fucking idea how long she's in New York.
it is a pretty long time,
Or-
but they skip over a lot.
Or
right?
how old she is at any point. Like, I feel like they did a very poor job of illustrating, like, what point in her life she's at and how long these certain things take.
I would
'cause
assume
even,
she's
like-
probably college age. Like she probably finished,
She looks
whatever
fucking young
education.
as fuck. And
Yeah, but
I don't think she had any education because she took the bookkeeping classes in New York.
Well, not college, but I think she had
Oh,
Oh,
like,
well, she
college,
had high
yeah.
school, yeah,
or whatever
yeah,
they
yeah,
call
I
it
mean,
in
yeah,
Ireland. Or,
And also, this is none of
college.
that's going.
that's college
They
and then
call it
university.
college.
Yeah, then university.
Not everybody's going to college at the beginning of America. Also, I mean, just to close out some. Why am I talking about her physical appearance?
It's really gross.
I was no.
I should call you Grossif.
But they had like her pupils. Like you guys noticed that? Like her pupils were like
She has
so.
two of them. Or?
No, they were like huge the entire time, and they'd have like those shots where they'd be close up on her face, and they were so big, and it was just like super unique to me.
Oh yeah, she was on
I
acid.
noticed.
It did look like
You
she was
missed
on
that part where
drugs.
she took
you
acid
didn't,
on
you
the
didn't
boat.
see it. She was on acid.
I don't know. Nobody else noticed that? Fuck me.
I didn't.
No.
No, I didn't. To be fair, if we're talking about her physical appearance, I saw pictures of her in real life. That actress, like when I googled her name to see what her deal was, and she looks completely different. It looks like a different person. Like
She does. Look at those pupils. They're huge. And she does it so.
Is it from the movie or just?
No,
a-
it's
No,
a
it's
picture.
just like a.
so just regularly she has.
It's like her headshot.
yeah, I don't.
I think
didn't-
somebody had to be like, we got to put those fucking pupils in a movie, man.
you see those pubes?
She's like, I feel so dirty, and they're like, show me your pubes.
God, Jesus Christ.
Take off your contacts, baby.
You want to make it in the pictures? Show me your pubes.
Oh God.
We gotta get those pubes on the big screen.
She like slowly takes off sunglasses.
Oh yeah.
Don't blink. Don't fucking blink.
Somebody turns like lights on. No. Like they shrink.
No, she's great though. She
Yeah,
good, though.
I mean,
I feel like
besides
Mike
her
was
looks,
I feel like Mike was just
Joseph.
like talking about some sort of like ex and like being like, yeah, no, there's this
I mean,
one
she's
time.
fine.
But
I
no,
don't- I
yeah,
don't mean to
she's
badmouth
good.
She was awesome. She did a great job.
She really played like the shy, like reserved girl really well.
She's also in like every scene of the movie,
Yeah.
which like that's a pretty big undertaking. She's a young actress, and she
She's
really
been in a lot though. If you look at her IMDb,
Yeah,
'cause
she has.
I
She
thought
has,
she had just
but-
been in like Lovely Bones and that's it. She's been in like a million movies now.
But, I
None
mean-
of them are huge, although she's been in, like Hannah, that was pretty big. But her IMDb is just like 5 movies a year. She's doing crazy work.
How old is she
Work,
in real
work,
life?
work.
22 or something, 23, something like that. Look,
Okay.
you're on her IMDb.
22.
Check.
She was born in 1994.
22.
1994. That is
22, because I'm 26. And
okay. So
Also, if
why were we talking about how old or young she is then?
Because you're obsessed with her, man. It's weird.
because she's so young that it's gross, according to you guys.
No, she looked. No, I just
Is that wrong? I want to see her
in the
pubes.
beginning. In the beginning of the movie, I thought she was like 15 years old or something, and I was confused. And then she like goes to New York, and I guess we can go further in the plot if that's cool. She goes to New York, and she
By
like
all means, no one else
eventually
is.
she eventually meets
treading water.
she eventually meets a man, like a dude who she gets involved with. But like, you know, it's like all of a sudden she's an adult, but I thought she was like in her like mid-teen years, you know? Like I was, the timeline to me was just kind of
they
off,
didn't really
thrown
make it
off.
clear.
Yeah, and like you said, all of a sudden she looks grown up and beautiful and
And
stuff.
I didn't know if it was she was like above 18 or if
Yeah.
it was if she was like, you know, because like back then, like when you were like 16, you were
You
like,
look like
an
you're
adult
like
at that
40,
point.
yeah.
Like,
You're like,
so-
it's time to get married.
Yeah.
It's time to
I
settle
need to
down.
find a
Start
man.
popping these bitches out.
I never said that she looked older. I just said that she looked more attractive.
But she did look- she did look older.
I personally thought the timeline was like less than a year the entire film.
But I don't think it
I
was
think
because
it's
she
over
was
a year, 'cause
together
there-
with
no, there is-
Tony for a year
And there's the scene where
she's with
she
Tony for a year.
before they
she
got
meets-
married. Yeah,
She meets with the priest at one point, and he's like, "Oh, I can't believe like a year ago today you were like homesick and like whatnot."
yeah.
Nice.
That's
Nice. I like what you guys are doing. Right now.
so she was home or she was in New York for a while, and then it takes her a little while to meet Tony. God knows how long, because they didn't illustrate that in the movie. And then, you know, she meets Tony and they're together for a year at least, and she goes back to, you know, it's like, how long has she been in America?
Yeah, and like the whole like seasons were kind of nondescript throughout the entire
Yeah,
movie. I
it's
felt
just
like,
kind
so they
of
didn't really.
moderate weather the whole time.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Yo, who played Tony? Like.
All right, yo,
Okay,
Emery Cohen.
Yeah.
Joe literally looked at me in the middle of the film, and he was like, "Is that the guy from like the Place Beyond the Pines?"
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
I've never seen it, so
Yo, he turned in a great performance in Place Beyond the Pines, and I think he did awesome in this movie
yeah,
too.
Oh
He's
yeah, he
pretty
was, I think
fire
he was
in
the
this.
best.
But he's
part
in
of
the,
this
he's
movie,
got he's in the
acting-wise.
pocket of like dude who has a New York accent.
right.
Like I don't think he could play a guy who doesn't have a New York accent.
Yeah, I haven't heard him talk in real life, but that was what I loved about it was just how authentic that.
Yeah, like
accent
it just
was.
felt real.
Yeah.
He felt and he kind of has like this nice like swagger to him. Like he's like laid back and like.
But he's also like,
But he also plays like
He's
the,
all-
the nervousness of
Yeah,
like I really
yeah,
felt like
exactly.
how nervous he was on these dates.
yeah,
and
like
you
when he
can
first said
feel-
"I love you" to her, and he was
Oh,
like,
yeah. You can feel like his affection, his disappointment when like she doesn't say "I love you" back. And
He's cute.
even, like
Yeah,
he's
he's a
cute.
cute guy.
yeah,
Team
like,
Tony.
like, yeah,
hashtag Team Tony. And then when he meets her
Team
after class,
Pastrami. Team Pastrami.
Yo, pastrami mad cute.
I hope she end up with pastrami.
I hope I end up with pastrami.
I guess at the
after
end
this.
they that's kind of how they made it seem. She might end up with pastrami. They're at the bakery or the bakery, the deli.
Maybe that's where he read it. That might have been the scene.
They did a really good job of like, again, like with his character. I mean, his acting, but also how they portray him. They did a really good job of like. I felt like another thing I could read from the theater is when she's back in Ireland and she's with the what's his name? Who's that guy?
Jim something.
Farrell,
Farrell,
isn't it?
yeah.
Who plays him though?
Domhnall Gleeson.
How many? He's in like 4
Everything.
Oscar
Fuck,
films
yeah.
this year. He's in Star Wars, The Revenant, this, and Ex Machina. They're all
Yeah.
up for Oscars.
I
Yeah,
feel
of some
like
kind,
I
yeah.
didn't see Ex Machina, but I feel like he's just kind of like meh in all of them. Like
No, he's great in Ex Machina. That's
I haven't seen it.
It's
I
his
haven't
best
seen it.
out of the four by
see
far.
Okay.
where we talked about how in Revenant how he didn't like he didn't seem like he was somebody who like was from that time. This I believed it. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I think he's good.
he was
He
in
is also
Ireland.
Irish too, so he fits
Right.
that.
But I want to talk about his father, Brennan Gleeson. A great actor. He was in Harry Potter. For those of you who don't know, I don't know the character's name, but he's the one with the wonky eye. He was in
Mad Eye Moody.
He was in Bruges. He's in
he's great
a
in
great movie
Bruges.
called Cavalry. Like he's a really, really, really
What was
great
the movie
actor.
we saw? Garda or The Guard?
Yeah, he's in the Guard.
The Guard was really
That's
good,
the
yeah.
same guy who made Cavalry.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Brendan Gleeson, he's a great actor. He should get his dues. That's Donald Gleason's father. Shout out.
Well, he wasn't in this
Shout out
fucking
for,
movie, Joe. So
he's
and just-
great.
Domhnall
He's great. He
Gleeson
could
out
have
of your
been.
balls.
But yeah, Donald Gleason, I think he's good. He's just, I feel like he's like these.
in Revenant, I don't
Yeah.
think he was. He didn't fit into Revenant.
No.
I think he's good in it. He just didn't look the part.
He's great in Ex Machina. He's really good. The first thing I saw him was About Time, that like
I
weird
didn't see
time
that.
travel romance movie. Saber agrees. That's a really good movie. He's good in that.
But I feel like in all of those movies, again, minus Ex Machina because I haven't seen it. But he's like,
He said
Anyone could
something
do the-
really weird, like Mind
Minus
Sex
six.
Machina. Have you guys seen Mind Sex Machina?
minus Ex Machina because I haven't seen it. But like, I feel like he has these roles that kind of anybody could do. Like even in Star Wars, like I feel like someone else could have done that fine. Like just
He
some
had
nondescript
some moments
actor.
in Star Wars that I thought
Yeah, like when he
were-
gives the speech
He
to the
almost
whole.
had
is really good.
his best acting piece in Star Wars. I thought.
Yeah, but I
like
feel
in
like
Ex
any
Machina?
nondescript actor who you've never heard of could have done that just as well.
I feel like in Ex Machina, he not that he called it in, like he was great, but he almost like had the same role that he did in Frank, which we were just talking about,
Oh, yeah.
last film, not film, fucking podcast.
in which we reviewed a film.
Right, yeah, but he was great in Ex Machina, but again, I think Star Wars was a little more out of his realm, and he like really showed that he could do that. Where in this, he was just kind of like,
Irish guy.
I'm fucking from Ireland. How hard is this?
Yeah.
And Revenant, he was like, I'm trying, but I'm really not working.
But I still thought that because this was more in his wheelhouse, that this was one of I enjoyed this more than probably him and Revenant, obviously.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But I
And even
feel
though I-
like
even though I
any
like the
Irish
speech-
guy could have done that role.
Yeah,
like
but
any
he
Irish
still did
actor,
it
you know?
well. Like, I mean, he didn't
Yeah.
deserve to be nominated for anything.
And he's
Yeah,
hot
but
right now. He's hot.
He is hot.
He is hot right now.
He's fucking hot right now.
He kind of looked weird. I didn't realize he looked like that. Like, I feel like he looked different.
But the whole point that I was making about bringing this up is that when she was in Ireland and she was with Donald Gleason, like you could we had a pretty talky theater, and everyone was like, "Don't fucking be with him." Like, like that's how
He's no Tony.
which is why I believe that people were like Team Tony, like
Yeah.
because like you could just like hear everybody be like. Like every time she was like, maybe I will stay here. Like,
Well, it was
think I
just
said-
strange because they spent such a long time like building up the relationship with Tony, and like I think they really did a good job of like portraying that connection. Like you really
Yeah.
felt that like these characters had these feelings for each other, and then she just goes to Ireland, and again because they don't really show the passage of time so well, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, now she's going on dates with the redhead guy now.
Yeah, well, that was my
And
other
that's supposed to be
problem.
all right, and that's not like cheating or anything.
My biggest problem with the movie is like, yeah, she goes back. So I guess for some context here, she's in New York.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about the plot at all.
So she moves to New York
We've
by
talked
herself.
about pastrami more than we've talked about the plot.
Pastrami. She moves to New York and meets Pastrami, and also Tony, and she
Pastrami
falls in love
Tony.
with Tony. And
these
they,
weak arms, pastrami. There's pastrami on a pastrami already.
Oh Jesus!
but they have sex,
Take the wheel.
and
Whoa!
eventually, who knows how long later.
Is that all you care about?
She ends
Shows
up-
when they have sex.
Yeah, it is.
When they're
But
soaking.
eventually, she goes back to Ireland because her sister passes away, and
Bummer.
yeah. ugh. Let's talk about the sex some more, am I right? But she goes back to Ireland, and then like all of a sudden, she meets this fucking dude once, and she's like, "Nah, Tony, who? I'm not gonna answer any of his letters. Like, I'm in love with this guy now. I wish I could be with him forever. I wish Ireland, because I have some shitty job that my
Although
fucking sister had.
I think I did get the feeling more. I got the feeling more that it wasn't so much about the new guy as it was just about like being home and kind of she's grown up, so she doesn't feel as awkward at home now. Like,
but I
there's
would
this
if
job
I went
for her,
back.
her mom needs her, and it was more just like not knowing if she wanted to go back to America, not so much Tony.
But
That was the feeling I got from her not responding to the letters.
It was so obvious that her
I feel
whole
like there's
town
such
was
like
plotting
love in
against
all
her.
of our voices. Like every time we're like Tony.
Oh,
Tony. He's so
yeah.
cute, Tony.
Team Tony.
I just
Hashtag Team Tony.
it was just so obvious that everybody was plotting to keep her there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that-
she
that
was
was
onto it at first, and then at some point she was just like, "Nah."
It was
It's
also,
okay.
like, super weirdly coincidental, like when she was like even doing that sort of just like I'm filling in for my dead sister here at this bank or what, or she was just doing
I don't know what it was.
It's just a
payroll or
Factory
whatever.
some shit, yeah.
But he was like, all right, well, we'll see her tomorrow. And she's like, well, going back to America. And he's like, well, we'll see how it goes. And it's just like sort of like,
yeah.
what
Let's
the
not,
heck?
let's not
Okay,
make any
see you
decisions
tomorrow.
either way.
I was like, that's a really weird thing to say to somebody who's like here just visiting for their sister's funeral. But it reminded me, and I said this, I came home and I was talking to Sabri about it, who I was like, my girlfriend who's standing right here, but I felt bad because like I invited her like to come see this movie, and then I kind of like talked her out of it. I was like, I don't know, me and Joe are gonna go see it, and you're tired, you lay back down, like kind of like thing. But then like
You don't like pastrami.
and she's like, what's it about? I'm like, I don't know, some Ellis Island shit, like.
That's literally what he said.
Yeah, it is, because that's how I described it to everybody. And then I was sitting there watching it, and she just like went to Ireland and everything. It ended up being like this pretty cute movie that she really would have enjoyed, and it took place mostly like in Ireland where she just was, and like Donald Gleason, who we talk about like all the time, and I was like, shit,
I fucked up.
I'm gonna be honest, I really love Sabri. That shit would have sucked. I would have felt like I was on a date with you and your girlfriend. Would
I
have
don't
been weird.
think so. I think it would have been.
Or maybe she would have felt like she was on a date with us. Either
No,
way.
we sat in the middle.
So we would have all been on a date
Wait, but
together.
if you're in the middle, then you're next to Joe and he's just on the outside.
Yeah.
It would have been like some less than 3 shit where we all hold hands and.
You guys all make out on my bed.
But what I was talking about was that this whole thing. Sabri, stop shaking your butt in front of my friends. No, I'm just
Oh, sorry, I'm looking in the fridge.
but it reminded me tremendously. Like this whole thing reminded me tremendously of like James Joyce, or
yeah.
just like the whole like everything thematically. I mean, we read, or I felt like. I at least read like the Dubliners like a million times over the course of like going to school and everything in high school, college, whatever. It reminded me of like Eveline, like that kind of like that sort of, you know, that sort of like guilt and cultural duty, like you gotta stay home and like take care of your parents kind of
Yeah.
like thing. Like even though your dad is like beating you and he's a drunk and you've met like the perfect man and he's gonna sweep you away to Buenos Aires, you have to be like, sorry, I gotta stay here with my dad who beats me, like kind of like that kind of like. And the mom, and like that was kind of like heartbreaking, where she's like, you know, when your dad died, I had you and your sister, and then when you left, I had your sister, and now I have nobody.
Yeah. I think the scene that really probably was the most emotionally important to me was when the sister actually dies and the priest is telling her about
Oh,
it, and
gosh,
she's like, oh, she says, oh, when is the funeral? And he's like, tomorrow. And she just says, without me. And he just says, you're too far away. Like that, I thought was probably one of the most like emotionally jarring scenes of the movie.
That's one of like the most like this film gave you such a really bizarre feeling, and like right from the get-go when she's sailing to America or whatever, or when she's saying her goodbyes before she leaves for America. And like I guess you don't realize that like, well, I'll see you again, sister. And like the sister kind of like hesitates, and like I think she already knows she's sick and she's going to pass before like she comes to visit. But like you also have that sense of like there's no airplanes. These boats
It's
take
a
a
big
really
deal
long
to go
time.
back. Yeah, and it's not like there's a
She-
boat every day going.
Right.
Like,
She might just never come back to Ireland. Like that's like the gravity of like what it was back then. Like it's just a very it was just kind of like a weird chilling feeling. It's like kind of like moving somewhere but not being able to move back kind of almost.
Yeah, I think that Like the scene where the sister dies is obviously a like super emotional scene, but I think the scene where she's on the boat and looking down into the crowd and she sees her sister, and her sister's like holding back tears, and then the mother walks away and the sister follows her, but then the camera kind of follows the whole crowd of people, and you're seeing all these people who are being sort of like, I don't want to say left behind, but they were being kind of left behind by loved ones.
Yep.
I think that was the most emotional scene for me in the movie, because you see these people and they're you know they're happy that their family members or whatever are going on to this great new thing in America, but like there's that real sense of like they're never going to see this person again.
It's like a one-way ticket. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's like they're being shot into space and there's no backup plan.
And I think the first half of the movie, they did like a really great job of showing the emotional like gravity to that decision, and to, you know, the toll that would take on somebody being in a new country where you might not ever see your family again with new people. Like, I think they did a really great job of illustrating that. The second half to me just didn't have that same emotional weight. Like, even though she's wrestling between, it just didn't feel as
Ireland,
real.
so she's
For whatever reason, it just didn't, because to me it just seemed like it was like the moment she got back, it was like the first day she was like, I love Tony, and then it was like, I love Ireland. Like all of a sudden, there was no like smooth transition.
Because of the passage of time, they didn't really.
Yeah, it was all of a sudden
over.
It was like she forgot about her life that she really loved in New York. All of a sudden, she's back in on Ireland. It just, I thought the second half of the movie, it was like two different movies to me.
Yeah.
And I was disappointed because I really enjoyed the first half. I was very disappointed in the second half.
I think the thing it does well is that going into it, you, like I said, like joking about it, like it seems like a Nicholas Sparks movie, and even like the IMDb description, like it just sounds like it's just going to be like some weird like love triangle, like who do I love more? But like all of the emotional depth, and really the movie is really just about like this struggle between, you know, where you're born and where you move from, and where do you end up like making your home, and like all the emotional, like, you know, she's never crying over Tony. She doesn't cry over Jim Farrell or anything. You know, she's crying over her sister dying, or the way she treats her mom, or like, you know, her mom finding out that she got married and that her mom wasn't there and that she didn't tell her. Like all the emotional stuff has to do with Ireland and home, and the distance between that and like Brooklyn, which I think is good, because going into it I was completely expecting it to be like, you know, like some weird love triangle and just over the top romance bullshit, and there is that in that, but that's not really what drives the plot. It's almost just kind of accessory to this story about a girl moving to Brooklyn and finding herself, and, you know, having the courage to essentially leave home. So I did appreciate that about it.
And it was a well done love triangle. In a way, or I don't even want to discount it and say that it was a love triangle. I think they really did a really good job, as far as a very subtle metaphor was that there was literally an ocean dividing both her family and the person that she loves.
Yeah.
And like that was like a super, it's just, it goes to such great lengths of, I really have to choose. Like I can't do both of these things, kind of. I don't know. And what I also liked was that it was definitely a period drama, but it wasn't, it didn't get lost kind of just trying to recreate like an older time, which I feel like a ton of like Oscar best film like nominees, like, you know, it's like, oh, it's from this time, and they almost get lost in just trying to recreate this older time.
Yeah, like the dialogue wasn't super like dated, like, you know, there wasn't a lot that you were like, what does that mean, or that you needed context to really understand. It was pretty simple in terms of that, in a good way. Like you were following it the entire time. And
it was just like I don't know, it was great art in the sense that it took feelings that you already had, and it made you feel that, like, you know, like everybody knows what it's like to be homesick, and they applied that to like that time and what that felt like, kind of, and everybody knows, you know, what it's like to have like some sort of internal struggle, you know, with all these things and family and everything. It was just, I think it was really good at really playing into emotions that you already have, that they didn't even have to like set up, but just they exist in this time too, you know.
So I don't know if this is, and I was thinking about this when we were watching the movie, but this seems to me to be a thing that's only ever portrayed in movies. I don't think it exists in real life, where somebody pastrami. Yeah, pastrami doesn't
Pastrami.
exist in real life. But no, where she goes to her sister's grave and she stands there and she talks out loud.
Yeah, I always think that.
That doesn't exist in real life, right?
I mean, I forgive it in movies because obviously we can't hear the thoughts that are going on in there, but they could also just write around that and not have you go to that grave.
Yeah, I think I think that could be better portrayed and more realistic with, just like a silent scene of her standing there looking, like because
Yeah.
you know what she's thinking.
thinking, yeah.
You don't need her to baby you through it. You know she wants her sister to be able to meet her husband and all this different shit. That shit just felt so inauthentic, and it does in every movie except maybe like Forrest Gump, because that's like the whole point of Forrest Gump, I guess. But it's just that shit kind of annoyed me, and I don't know. I have a major problem with the second half of this movie. It just didn't feel like the same movie to me, for whatever reason. Sorry, guys.
So, okay.
God damn it.
Joe just really,
Don't mean to bum everyone's review out. Shit.
really spoke his piece there, I guess. Boy.
But I liked it.
It's a weird movie for me.
It is.
Just because there's not a lot that I had a problem with, but I just feel like it was not a movie for me.
Right.
I liked also. I was thinking about this while we are watching it. So Tony is like an Italian American. He's from an Italian family and stuff. And they're like loud and rambunctious, and they're eating pasta at the dinner table, and they're all talking and stuff. And she's like very sort of overwhelmed by that experience, And I was super into that whole idea. My family, we're half Italian and half Irish, but we're loud, and there's a bunch of us and stuff. So like bringing my girlfriend, to eat dinner with us is always, she's from a quiet family. There's not a lot of them. Yeah, so I enjoyed seeing like that sort of portrayal of like this family and her coming into that. That's like an interesting point of view.
did like the family. The family was a great detail.
And the little kid, that kid deserves
he's funny,
fucking something. He was hilarious. Best part of the damn movie.
I mean, he was a little punchliney, but
definitely.
I mean, it was. I still. It
God,
was,
That shit works for little kids. Yeah, that shit works for little kids.
it's also a unique character because it was something where like he could read and write.
Yeah, that was
and
really
the other
interesting.
guy couldn't as well. And I think they said something about him having like a college education,
Or like he'd be like the first. He'd be the first one in their
To be able to go to
I guess to sort of start bringing things to a close, maybe to get towards like the ending. Who does she choose? Team Tony or
She goes Team Tony.
Team Jim?
Tony.
So she decides to go back to Brooklyn and pick on
Eat a pastrami sandwich.
with Team Tony. But like the very, very ending, I was not crazy about. I don't know how you guys felt about it.
It's corny.
Because
What was the very ending again?
well, there's when she goes to America,
Okay.
there's like that not mature but like veteran boat traveler woman that she's rooming with that kind of shows her the ropes and like takes her under her wing and explains to her like how she should act when she's in line at like Ellis Island,
Right.
and explains to her that she shouldn't have like eaten while on the boat. So then when what is the character's name? I can't remember now.
Ellie.
Shit.
I'm looking at it's Eilis.
Really?
Ellis Island?
That's not how they said it. That's not how it sounds.
Does
in
it
the movie.
sound remotely familiar? Hold on.
Yeah, literally
like-
looking at the IMDb.
It's like Elsha or something. It's something weird.
I don't even.
It's definitely not
Eilis or
Eilis.
Eiley?
I don't know.
A-list. A-list.
I don't
It's
remember.
A-list.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I actually don't know if that's right. I'm just
No,
saying.
it is. It's A-list.
But yeah, so then when she goes back to America after going back to Ireland, she kind of takes another girl that she's rooming with under her wing and is telling her the same things that this blonde bitch that was there before was telling.
Did you not feel like that was gonna? As I was watching the beginning of it, where she's getting help from the blonde bitch, like I felt like this is gonna come full circle.
Yeah,
It just felt like one of those things that was gonna come full
made
circle.
sense, but it just I don't know. I was kind of cringing. Like I was like, this is just it's like too neat of like a resolution, and
right.
it was just like too perfect. The thing is like the whole like when she's going to America the first time, like there's a scene where she's in the dining hall and she's eating and no one else is, and like the waiter comes up to her and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
surprised that you're like eating because there's a big storm tonight and not all the other passengers are eating." And then when she's going back to America a second time, she tells like the roommate in her room like not to eat anything like for like a week or something like that. She says like, which is just like really weird advice.
Terrible advice.
I thought it was just for like
because
there was a storm. Like I didn't think it was just that the boat ride is always that awful that you shouldn't eat anything.
Yeah, she
week.
thinks she's hot shit, but she
Yeah.
accidentally killed that poor girl. She also shit in a bucket in the beginning. Of the
Yeah,
movie,
that was
which
a
is
weird
pretty
scene.
gnarly.
I kind of like that.
I did
because,
too.
like,
I thought it was dope.
Because like
Made of that.
it's not like, oh, it's, you know, like it's kind of like
I mean,
a lot of period pieces don't like to do things like that, I think.
It definitely set the stage because until then I was still expecting like a Nicholas Sparks like romance thing, and then I was like, oh, she's shitting in a bucket.
She's taking a dump in a bucket.
This might not be the romantic movie I was hoping for. Well, not hoping, but expecting.
Hoping.
All right.
Dude loves Nicholas
I was
Sparks.
disappointed.
She's gonna need a pastrami sandwich out of this one.
But,
Is it dead yet? Have I killed it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I
okay.
did.
we got a few more.
Yeah.
All right.
But why don't we get to some fingers?
All right.
Show me them fingers.
Should I go first since I'm the guest, or is
You're
that
the
how
guest
this
of
works?
honor. I don't know. We usually kind of like all look at each other and
Yeah.
somebody
I
breaks.
don't know.
All right. Well, I'll go first, and
Go
you guys
first.
can look at each other while I go. So I don't fully remember how many fingers I gave The Martian, but I feel like it was like 2 or 2.5.
Everybody's giving you one finger.
Yeah.
It's giving you the oldest pastrami. Okay, go. I'm gonna stop.
Deuces to the world, -1.
So let's say I gave The Martian a 2.5.
Which sounds
And-
kind of like.
I could actually tell you right now. I have all the ratings.
Oh, could you?
Oh yeah, let's
right.
pull it up.
All right.
Because that does. Do you grade everything on the same stage? Like we always talk about.
well,
this.
it's tough.
It's hard.
You gave The Martian 2 stars.
Oh
Joe.
shit. Okay, that gives me a little more breathing room. I'm
Yeah,
into that. I'm into
okay.
that.
As did you, Joe.
Yeah, we were in sync on that.
Yeah, that sounds about right though for the
Yeah,
fucking Martian.
I agree.
Sorry.
I gave it 3.5.
I stick by 2. Ooh, 3.5. Shit.
Ooh, that's like
A lot
a
of these
joke
ratings are
run
like
right there.
cringeworthy as I look back
Oh,
on them.
dude, I know. That is the hardest thing about this. I would love to have some sort of episode of this podcast.
I think we'll do it before the
Like,
Oscars.
of-
yeah.
Refingering?
Of us. Well, no, just a refingering for our fingers. Of just kind of like readdressing, like, you know, I think like everybody, or just. This is not the right time to get into this. But just like, you know, like, oh, we like movies. Like, we could be critics. I think everybody thinks that, including me and Mike. And it's nope. It's fucking hard because, like, you literally look back on, like, a rating that you gave, like, a week ago, and you're like, oh, that was so dumb.
Yeah.
Like, that was so... and I'd love to have, like, an episode where
Look,
we
it's
just-
hard when you
we just
bring
talk
other
about
movies
that.
into it because it's easy to review something in a vacuum,
Right.
But then when you bring other movies and other ratings into it, it's really hard to compare movies to another one.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when they're, like, wildly different. Like,
Oh,
The
yeah.
Martian and this film. Like, they're so different.
And it
How
would
do
be
you
one
grade
thing
them
if
on
we
the
had
same
only
scale?
seen like Oscar nominees, but like we threw some like blockbusters in there too that just kind of like fuck all the ratings up too.
And especially when you only have like a 5. Like, I guess you have halves,
Halves,
but
yeah.
it's not a lot of room to work with. Like, if you had it out
I mean,
of
it's
100
technically
or
the same
something.
as 10.
Yeah,
10
you can really...
No,
like,
I disagree. Well, yeah, 10's not that much to work with either.
What would you prefer?
100?
Yeah, 100, man. Rotten Tomatoes style.
Tomatoes.
Shit.
But-
That's why they won't let us on Rotten Tomatoes.
that and, like, the 100,000 followers that we're
Yeah.
missing.
No,
But
we
anyway.
got those. It's in the bag.
So I gave The Martian 2 fingers. I'm down with that. I stick by it. And this movie, I'm gonna give this movie a 3. Cause I do like this movie. I enjoyed it. I would definitely watch it again if, like, you know, I wouldn't seek it out, but if the opportunity arose, I would watch it again. I enjoyed it. I do think, like, it's an immigrant story, and it's not a particularly interesting one. Like, I feel like it's kind of just a story of, oh, like, she came to America. You know, like, it's like really, like, oh.
She cried a little bit.
Yeah,
and then
like,
she went back. And then
yeah,
she came
like,
back.
It's not a very particularly interesting immigrant story. There are better ones out there, but I think they did it well, and I think that the performances are really good. And I think the emotional weight of the first half of the movie is really, really, really great. and it just loses steam for me in the second half. When it gets too much into the love triangle, that's where it loses me. Because although it does it well, it doesn't feel authentic. Like, it doesn't feel real. She buys into it too much. She has no fucking, I don't know, what's the word? Like, constitution? Is that a correct word for what I'm trying to say? She has no, like, inner strength or whatever. Like, she just gives in immediately. And it just didn't feel like that's the way it would be. Like, it just didn't feel real in a very real feeling movie prior to that moment for me. So I'm gonna give it a 3. I feel like that's a solid, like, middle ground to go with.
Average.
I don't think it's a best picture worthy movie, but I get why people like it. It's good. It's inoffensive. It's good. It's fine.
It is very safe as far as movies go.
Like, that's why it's playing at the county theater.
Yeah.
There's not much to dislike about it, but I just don't think there's that much to like about it, other than it's fine.
Yeah.
So 3 fingers from me.
Tying that into my rating, like I get, like, I really don't have many criticisms of it. Like, even as I was watching it, I was just kind of like, okay, like, I was looking for things to hate about it because I thought it was going to be a shitty movie going into it. I just really can't throw much at it, but it's just not a movie for me.
Right.
And it's just, that's so weird to, like, see a movie and to not really be able to criticize it, but to also just come away like, well, I didn't really enjoy
my personal preference. Right.
Yeah. And I hate to be like that. But that's just how I felt about it. But I do think the acting was great pretty much throughout, particularly Emery Cohen as Tony, and also Saoirse or Charche or however the fuck she pronounces her name. Ronan was great. The writing's decent. It's all just decent. There's really nothing I can criticize about it, but just not for me. So I'm gonna agree with your score and give it 3 fingers as well.
All right. So I guess I'm last in line. See, this is so hard because what did I give The Hateful Eight? A 3.5 or something,
did,
or like,
yeah.
that is such a dumb score because now I wanna, and I have to grade everything accordingly to that, and this is exactly what I was talking about because, like, as I try to work grades around in my head, or scores around in my head. But I did like this movie. I like this movie a lot. I do think it deserved a Best Picture nomination. I would have kicked out, Bridge of Spies, The Martian, a handful before I would kick this out. Again, like everything I said before, I did like how you saw the protagonist sort of evolve, by aesthetic or attractiveness. I did like the sort of duality between America and Ireland. I did like, again, that metaphor with it's like a vast ocean between choosing one's love and one's family and everything. It just reminded me of James Joyce, who, again, one of my favorite authors and everything, and it really invoked a lot of those culture and everything in Ireland. So, and again, it gave me a super unique feeling of, again, like, leaving, not being able to come back. I'm just repeating all the shit that I said. I really didn't have a lot of notes. But I really did like this film. I think I'm going to give it a 4 fingers. Just because I have to grade on that fucking Hateful Eight.
You don't have to. You're essentially grading on a scale of 0 to 5. We kind of have to, like, throw the other movies out, I think.
You're also really, really getting a little hard on yourself about this Hateful Eight.
It's a fucking mistake that's going to haunt me forever.
Well, here's the thing. I think Hateful Eight, I like the Hateful Eight better than this movie. We don't got to get into it now, but...
You know what? I'm going to give it a 3.5.
There you go.
3.5.
Give it what you feel, man.
That's how I'm actually feeling. So that's what I'm going to... What is that average out?
It's going to come out to a 3. I don't know what it averages out to, but it's going to round
down
to a 3.
It would
true,
round out to a 3.25.
Word.
Because we both gave it 3s. Isn't that how that works?
Well, we round in increments of half, so it'll round out.
Yeah.
And both you guys. All right, so 3 if I made it a 4, would have that done anything?
I can't do math. Hold on.
All right, fuck it. Let's just not even get into it.
No, we have to do math on this podcast. That's how it works.
No, we don't. This is the worst part of the
It's
podcast.
my favorite part, the
Doing
math part.
No, it's not. While he's doing this, Joe, do you want to plug your podcast, the Naked Barbie Dolls?
Yeah, so guys, if you want to check, I looked it up. It is Secret of the Living Dolls. It's a BBC documentary. You can find it on YouTube if you want to literally not sleep for like a fucking week. It'll ruin your life. That there are people out there that exist.
It wouldn't change the score, Joe.
Okay.
3.5 then.
Yeah,
Stick with it.
3.5.
Put it in cement. Put it on stone. Make it official.
Put it in pastrami.
Put it in pastrami.
I want to put pastrami in this. I want to put pastrami in the film.
But so check out Secret of the Living Dolls, and if you guys, are interested at all, you can check out my podcast. It's called the O Word Podcast. It's on iTunes and Stitcher and all that stuff. The Twitter is O Word Podcast, so if you just go to @O Word Podcast. Also, my Twitter, my Instagram is @JoeManno _MANNO, and O Word Podcast.wordpress.com is the website, so you can check all that shit out there. But mostly, please check out Secret of the Living Dolls.
More importantly, check out.
That shit is crazy, and it'll change your world. And maybe, you'll find a new fetish or something.
I'm going to go watch this.
But thank you guys.
I kind of want to watch it.
Yeah,
now.
please do. It's fucking freaky.
Go check out the podcast, though.
You can check out the podcast, but definitely check out the documentary.
All right.
But thank you guys for having me again. This is fun. I like doing this.
Thanks for coming on.
I enjoy drinking
and
reviewing movies with you fools.
So,
Talking
signing out for
Signing up for Pastrami Podcast.
Fuck Matt Damon.
I'm Pastrami.
I am also Pastrami.
And we'll see you, Pastrami.
Team Tony.
Hey guys, Mike here. One of these days I'll make Joe record an outro in case you're getting sick of my voice, but until then, I'm all we got. So I just want to give you a heads up on our upcoming schedule. If you're listening to this on Thursday, like a faithful fan, the Academy Awards are this Sunday, and as the culmination of the year 2015 in film, it sort of signifies the end of our first season. So to wrap things up, we're going to start the tradition of giving you 2 establishing shot episodes this weekend. In the first, which will release Sunday morning so that you'll have enough time to listen to it before the awards, Joe and I will give our official predictions for who and what we think will win each award, as well as wrapping up the season with a top 10 list and some interesting facts about how our ratings played out. Then, Joe and I will get intoxicated and watch the Oscars. Immediately after, we'll record a quick establishing shot episode to recap how we did with our predictions, to review the ceremony itself, and perhaps to even make some broader observations about the year 2015 in film as a whole. And I'll edit that one as fast as I can since I have work on Monday, but it should be out sometime very early Monday morning so that you can listen to it and sound smart when you talk about the Oscars at the water cooler that afternoon. Or maybe you'll just sound drunk since we'll be drunk when we record it. Anyway, these should be fun episodes, so we hope you enjoy them. Looking forward, I know I referred to this as the end of our first season, but fear not. We are not taking a hiatus between seasons. We're simply moving forward to the year 2016 in film. In fact, we've already got the first review of a 2016 film recorded, a drunken review of Michael Bay's 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. So look for that on Thursday, and look for a new episode of How Many Fingers Am I Holding Up every Thursday in 2016. Unless I just jinxed it. Oh god, I hope not. Anyway, that's what you can expect for the upcoming week. Be sure to hit us up on Twitter at HMF Podcast with suggestions for drinks that we should consume or synonyms for drunk that we should use. And visit our website at howmanyfingerspodcast.com to find all of our social media links. And since this was our last review of a 2015 film, let me just say it now in case I'm too drunk to say it at the end of the Oscar wrap-up episode. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, sharing the links, and telling your friends. Speaking for the both of us, it's been so much fun to ruin our livers for your enjoyment, and we're so excited to continue doing so this upcoming year. Thank you, thank you, thank you.